everybody. Welcome back to the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast. I'm your host, Gene Jackson, coming to you, as always, from the Retro Wrestling Archive in Gadsden, Alabama, along with producer Smokey, running things behind the scenes. And right now, join me in welcoming my co-host. First up, we've got the mystery man, Josh Briley. What's up, Josh?
The mystery man. I like it. Mysterious.
Yeah. Sabu / Samu has been here for weeks, and suddenly on this episode, they're referring to him as the mystery man. I don't know if it's kind of their way of like man of mystery, like Austin Powers or what, but that kind of felt odd.
We got David Webb fucking calling him by his government name, Sabu. I like it.
Yeah.
It's like there's no communication. I love it, though. Great episode.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. Before we do, though, of course, we can't do it without our other co-host. He's the owner, founder, and president of STSpod.club, and he's currently Jonesboro, Arkansas's favorite resident. Spoiler alert, it's Brian Tramel. What's up, BT?
Cold as a well-digger's ass over here, guys. I got snow up to my asshole. Here in Jonesboro. By the way, I've got a huge hangover due to the fact that I was drinking whiskey every time they said mystery man on this episode yesterday. Ooh. So I got a good buzz. Hey, Gene, my best friend, my favorite co-host, P3 Radio, Josh, getting Buck over here. I've got to put over the sponsors real quick. Jolly Royal Furniture opened a new account or reopened an old account. That's 122 South Main Street in Memphis, Tennessee. New sponsor. Well, they've been a sponsor for the last 3 weeks. Spaghetti Warehouse. And that is 40 West Hulling Avenue in Memphis, Tennessee. And a big shout out to Rob Helt. He's coming to Jonesboro, and we're headed to Memphis when he gets here, and we're going to reopen his account at Jolly Royal Furniture, and we're going to go to Spaghetti Warehouse. I got to get that lasagna. Before we get started, I'm excited to meet, excited to meet Rob in person. He's going to be here in February. I may have some video or something. Hopefully I'll have my studio fixed up, and we'll set him down in here, and y'all can watch in the studio with BT. I've got some questions about last week's show. So it's one of the few shows I listen to again that I do. And y'all said some stuff. So you said something about Dr. Tom brother-in-law or something to Dirty White Boy. I didn't get that. So what? And I know probably some of our listeners didn't get it either. So was he married to Tony Anthony's sister?
No.
Okay.
So the doctor, it was I guess he was married to Kim, the Dirty White Girl's sister, for a good number of years.
Oh, okay. I did not. I didn't get what y'all were talking about there. I was like, but that probably is the reason he stood so far away from her. Also, I was talking about going to Memphis Wrestling all the time. I also went to Power Pro a couple of times with Randy down there. Yeah. And one of the few times, the very first times I had met Dustin, and, since I was such a high flyer and I jumped from the top rope all the time as a BT Express, I actually showed him where to put his hands at to jump on the top rope. I actually did. I did it correctly. I was doing it, and Randy Hells and all of them was listening to me as I told Dustin. I never did that move in my whole life. So, but I have been down to Power Pro, and it was the exact same setup, that little TV and everything. And also, I've had a demand for you guys have to put talking tongue shirt. When you're talking tongue. So it should be a church in the background with with a big tongue on it, like the Rolling Stones shirt.
I see like a crazy pastor with 2 fistfuls of snakes.
Oh, I like that. Talking tongue. There we go. Yeah. There we go. With the church in the background. We got to have the church there, too. So
a couple of variants there. Hey, real quick, I just want to say, you always start out saying get Buck. And I was watching a 1990 episode of Memphis the other day, and Lawler comes out, and he's heel still at the moment, and it's the middle of the snowman thing.
Right.
And of course, at that time, studio was just
it was loud,
loud. And so he's about to cut a promo, and they start yelling over him, "Get Buck!" And then you just see it in Lawler's face. He just stops. He kind of drops his shoulders, and he looks over there, and he points at somebody. He says, "Hey, you, red shirt, come here." And the guy like, "Me?" And he's like,
I don't remember that.
Come here.
I do.
And Snowman's sitting out there with him. So this guy comes over there who, looks like he hangs out with Reggie B and that manager we had fun with.
So he was black?
Yeah. If you couldn't read between the lines, let's just spell it out there. Let's put a big fucking neon sign out there. And so Lawler asked him, he's like,
black.
What does get buck mean that y'all are yelling all the time? He's like, it's like buck wild. Get buck wild. And he's like, so when y'all are yelling that, you're wanting everybody to get wild. And he's like, yeah. Lawler's like, well, okay. And he kind of nudges the guy away, and he turns and looks at Dave, and he's like, well, there you go, Dave. And Dave's like, well, all right. Now we know what they're talking about when they say get buck out there. And Lawler
what
goes,
they are talking about.
Exactly. I love that. And then Lawler sits back on the edge of the desk and starts cutting his promo. But I thought that was hilarious.
He didn't say anything about there was a bunch of monkeys out there. And
well, I was going to say only second to the clip where everybody's hollering. And he's like, look at that. We could film a Tarzan movie.
Yeah.
And
he did that recently on a show. It was like within since I've been doing the podcast, he went to Victory Championship Wrestling or Velocity or something. It was a little small promotion, but they were doing TV on YouTube. And he came out, and it's almost completely black crowd, and he did the whole jungle and bananas, and
right,
I mean,
feel like
this is recent.
Patreon.
This is recent. I'll have to find that clip.
You say recent? You've been doing the podcast a long time,
9 years. So, but yeah,
exactly. So that's been almost a decade ago. When you first said recent, I'm like, nobody told me when he came to the Wrestle Center that he was saying, "Let's film a Tarzan movie." But no, you're talking about 10 years ago. But anyway, let's talk about that on Patreon or somewhere where I don't have to get the messages for it. Right now, we're going to immediately jump back to July 6, 1991 for another episode of USWA Championship Wrestling. Dave Brown's here. Michael St. John's here. Unfortunately, Corey is not. And they hype up what they call a loaded show. It's going to be Rob Zakowski versus Samu the Mystery Man. And as soon as they said that, I was like, okay, he's been around. How's he a mystery? But anyway, Eric Embry's going to be in action. We're going to see a huge match in the studio today. Jerry the King Lawler taking on former Western States Tag Team Champion Judge Dredd. We'll see the USWA Tag Team Champions, Jarrett and Fuller, in the studio. And today we'll see the debut of the Barroom Brawlers as they're scheduled to take on superstar Bill Dundee and Uncle Danny Nightmare Danny Davis. So we start the show out with this Rob Zakowski Samu the Mystery Man match, and I thought it's not a long match. I thought we hadn't actually seen any of Sabu's stuff in the ring or Rob Zakowski. We've talked about him and how his style was unique for the time. So let's take a look at this quick match here.
Samu the Mystery Man in the ring.
And here comes Rob, not quite Mr. Monday Night yet. He's not even Mr. Saturday Morning at this point, but there you go. Front flip into the ring. Sabu's bent down, scurrying all over the place. As you guys are watching this and you're thinking, this is the future of ECW right here, it feels so odd to see them in Memphis.
Yeah, no, I was having those exact thoughts while I was watching this yesterday. And at this time, Candido was there. Like that. Those are three major, later in ECW fixtures.
I could, when they first brought these two guys out, I believe I said, it was me or Gene said, why don't they put these two guys against each other? We know they're having good matches all over the indies at this time. And when they came into Memphis, and I was like, well, it's about time. But I didn't know about him being such a mystery. That's what got me.
It's a mystery why you guys are calling him Samoan as he rocks a turban coming out there.
Salmon. He's a salmon.
his beanie pants. But not to step on BT's toes and spoil anything, but it won't be long here in '91 before the Sandman is going to arrive.
Oh yeah,
And it's not going to be the Singapore cane smoking baggy pants Sandman. This is surfboard carrying surfer Sandman. So looking.
We'll have to tell
that.
the story about how he got the surfboard. I recently was reminded about that. That's a hilarious story about how he came into Memphis with a surfboard, or ended up with a surfboard. Just put it that way.
Cool. We'll definitely throw it to you to tell that story when he pops up, because I'm sure it is. I don't remember. I may have heard it, but I don't remember. But I can only imagine it's probably something crazy involving Sandman.
Well, you got a guy who at one time died, got off the gurney, and went and worked a match. So that
show goes on, man. He gets choked on the ropes. Samu does the jerk the rope, the throw him back gimmick, and RVD does a backflip, lands on his feet. I've never seen somebody picked up and then just backdropped after holding them there.
It's unique, man. That they're this is some shit like you could tell they worked with each other a lot, because somebody that like Chris Frazier would not be doing and going with this flow like the way these guys are. I was thinking when I was watching this, like, this is totally different structure than any match that we've watched so far. The way that they're just chaining the moves together, it's like it's really different.
They get really good at it. We know that, but this reminded me of something out of the backyard wrestling. That's what it reminded me of first. Yeah. No, no hardcore shit, but it did. That's just two guys. Hey, let's do this. Let's do this move. Let's do that move. Make sure we get this move.
Ironically, though, when Sabu jumped over just now and hit him with the left or the right, that got the biggest pop. They were like, it's totally out of nowhere.
Yeah, if Gorilla Von Steen was calling this match, he would say they have a very unorthodox style.
Well, it's because of the mystery. I loved that, by the way.
That was great.
Yes, it was. Those kicks.
Educated feet like Stan Lane is.
Yeah, he does. Hey, that's a handsome guy right there, that Rob, and he is so good on the microphone.
Is this before Matt Byrne? Is that happen right after this?
I'd be after this. But yeah, this is definitely before. All right,
what was Matt Byrne? What was Matt Byrne?
He was just doing jobs in WWF.
Oh, okay. And who was it, Rob?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You'll see that screenshot pop up in.
Look at them dirty feet. Man, take them feet backstage and wash them.
Wash them in that stink bowl.
Dirty pen with dirty feet. How appropriate. I probably should have clipped the promo. But
oh, my God. It was so bad.
I didn't want to.
Do y'all want me to do the promo?
Do you know where Eddie Merlin's at?
Eddie Merlin.
I really want to wrestle him again. There we go. There it was.
I'm really, Eddie Merlin, I'm very, very pissed off. I can't control my anger right now. I'm so furious.
I just want to see my family again. Can I just make it back to see my family? It's a fucking hostage situation. Like, it's just, go out there. I'm going to kill your fucking family. Like, oh my God. Surely to God that I know the Sheik, and like, he had his own charismatic ways. He wasn't like a promo guy by any means but Sabu and him both, surely to God, knew like how important being like a certain level of charisma has to be, like at a certain point, to get over with the fans. Like, they had to know that him going out there like that was not the right way.
Gene, Doug and Tommy talk about that when it comes to promos on the podcast. Didn't have one this week, but did last week. In the sense that they really didn't know. You didn't have promo class. I mean, they did. They just said, okay, you need to get you over this match. Me and Gene's watching a show from 1987. This past, it's on Patreon right now. Lance did the promos, or if they forgot something, Lance would jump in and do it. And I've said it many times. The announcer did the Lance for him. So this is what needed to happen here.
And Dave even adjusts to that. You notice that he's able to, kind of steer the guys in the direction they need to go to set up that Monday night match. So, and Dave had been sitting back watching Lance do that for so many years. I guess that he had learned it. He just didn't usually have to apply it because usually it was Lance, interviewing everybody. I guess Sabu had the right, frame of mind. Like, well, I can't talk, and I'll just do like my uncle, and I'll do a gimmick where I don't have to talk.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, me too. They're like, no, we can't. Everybody can't be silent. Like, yeah, you're gonna have to talk. He's like, I have to. Like, yeah, you're gonna have to. He's like, oh fuck.
And he went out there and acted like he had to.
They should have dubbed a voiceover or something. It was awful, but he comes around eventually and falls into that RVD rhythm of appearing to be high all the time. And the way he gets that accomplished, I've heard, is because he's high all the time. But I don't know that. That's purely speculation from people who have been around him. So next up, I just got to show. We're only going to show the clip of them coming out there. Like, it's just, to me, watching and listening to Dave Brown and Michael St. John's reaction when Leatherface enters the studio, I think will always be funny to me. Let's check this out.
There's that Leatherface out here with that chainsaw again. I thought last week we had that shot. Come on. Tojo, Embry, get this guy out of here.
Watching Texas Tojo try to maneuver Leatherface around the studio and get him out. And the fact that he ran all the way up on Michael St. John, like nearly bumped into him. And I was like, Jesus, why don't you just get out of the studio, Michael? Because that looked strange. The guy with the chainsaw was coming at him. He's just kind of like... But I've noticed he hadn't rushed Dave with it. Like, he goes to Michael St. John, but he don't roll right up on Dave like that. So I think he's probably been told, like, hey, Dave works for the station. Let's not piss him off if we can keep from it. But Embry's been fined by Eddie Marlin. He's mad about it. Marlin took groceries out of his family's refrigerator, he says, and he's promising revenge. And he's telling what Dave Brown tells us is a lie. He's telling us about how he remembers seeing Jackie Fargo get stuck in the back of that ambulance on that gurney. And Dave Brown's like, he wasn't on a gurney. He didn't go in an ambulance. Yeah, Dave, I watched him go in that ambulance. So I love that another part of his shtick now is just straight up making shit up, just like the Lawler in a wheelchair thing. But then he just clings to it. He doesn't let go to it. I could have included this promo, but we got a few different clips this morning, and we've heard a lot of Embry promos, but this was another a fun one in a series of fun ones.
I like that they're not counteracting that liar factor on him either. Because before, when he would come out there and straight up lie, they would show a clip to prove him wrong.
Yeah,
they're not showing clips when he's doing this now, and I like it because it kind of leaves this mystery.
What you think, Brian?
I like him being able. I like Embry just being such a bullshitter. It goes back to what Josh has said from day one. It's like you want to punch him in the face, you want to call him a liar, you want to do everything. He's the perfect heel. He really is. And the size, everybody always thought, well, he didn't have a great size. I think that's part of his appeal as a heel, is that he's this little guy that you think, well, I could beat him. I could beat him up. Will he shut the fuck up kind of thing? So, yeah, I love Embry promos, and I think we got a clip of one coming later that we talked about for you. I absolutely huge Embry fan right now.
So he goes in the ring, taking on Chris Frazier, and that goes about exactly how you'd expect it would, and he DDTs him, gets the pin. It's not very long. But then we almost see the return of something that was a weekly event, and we haven't seen it in a while. Eric sets Chris Frazier up on the top turnbuckle. He climbs up the second rope. He's getting ready to pile drive Chris Frazier off the second rope, which I was afraid might kill his heat. There might have been people at home going, yeah, do it. But before he can do it, the King slides in, snatches him down off the turnbuckle, and we get another, a round of Lawler chasing Embry and all that fun stuff. And eventually...
Did you notice what Embry said whenever he got him up on the top rope and he's fixing to climb up there? He turns to the desk and points, and he said, did you hear what he said?
No.
He said, I'm fixing to end this jabroni's career. We got an early jabroni. I was like, holy shit, there we go.
Yeah, I didn't hear that either. Wow.
Chris Frazier getting treated like a jabroni and then getting called one right in his face there. That's awesome. So then we hear from Lawler, and we haven't watched a Lawler promo in a while, so I thought we would check some of this out. But for some reason, it didn't pull up as a regular clip, so I'm going to have to do it this way if it will pull up. Let's see here. I'll have to edit this part out. Some people brag on podcasts that they don't do any editing to their shows, that they just make people sit through whatever bullshit. I try to be decent and edit stuff out.
We had to edit this week. We had to edit this week. I straight up
Being out here a little bit earlier, first of
No problem. All right, here we go.
all, and I know you've got lots of things going on.
Well, first of all, I want to say a couple of words about Eric Embry. It seems that week in and week out, all you can talk about now is Eric Embry. And as I've said before, I'm sick of having to talk about Eric Embry. The people are sick of having to listen to people talk about Eric Embry. But most of all, I can assure you that everybody that's watching out there right now is very sick of having to look at Eric Embry. But believe me, no more so than I am. And what I want to do and what I intend to do and what I will do is get rid of Eric Embry once and for all. Everywhere I go, every person I talk to, the main topic of conversation is, King, when are you going to get rid of Embry and all of those jerks from Texas? I realize that's what the people want, and believe me, I want it too, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Now, you listen to Eric Embry come out here and run his mouth, and the question is, how do you know when Eric Embry is telling the truth, or how do you know when Eric Embry is lying? And the way you know is, if his lips are moving, he's lying. That's the truth about Eric Embry. He stood out here and he talks about what he did to Jackie Fargo in that match. Well, I just wish we had a little piece of footage, a little piece of video from that match, because you would see that Jackie Fargo and I whipped him and Leatherface from one end of that building to the other, and the last thing we saw was Eric Embry's big fat rear end running out that back of that building, just like I saw it running out of this studio just a few minutes ago. Eric Embry, you come out here and run your mouth about how big and how bad and how tough you are, but the truth of the matter is, when it gets right down to it, you don't want to stand face to face with anybody. You don't want to go toe to toe with anybody. All you want to do is, like I said, is turn tail and run. So why don't you admit that you are just like that rose you brought out here from Texas. You are as yellow as that rose is, Eric Embry, and I'm here to tell you that. And if you were a man, if you had any guts, if you were bad like you say you are, why don't you come right out here right now, because I know you're in the back of the studio watching this on a monitor. Why don't you come out? Why don't we invite Eric Embry to come out here right now? Huh? Come on, Erica. Come on out here right now and back up everything that you say. This is your opportunity right now. Can you hear the people? What's the matter with you, Embry? It's just like I said, he's as yellow as that rose. Now let me tell you something. You saw the stipulation, you saw the match, and no, it didn't take Eddie Marlin and I putting our little brains together to come up with this match. All it took was figuring out that we're going to have to do something to keep you from running. We're going to have to do something to keep you in the ring, something to make you back up all of those big words that you spout off. So what we're going to do is, when you go and get in the ring, and then when I go and get in the ring, they're going to have Jeff Jarrett, they're going to have Robert Fuller, they're going to have Danny Davis, and they're going to have the superstar Bill Dundee all around that ring. And they're not there to interfere. They're not there to knock you out, as you want to call it. They're there to do one thing. That's when you feel froggy and try to jump out of that ring, they're there to throw you right back into me. And as long as we got that, Eric Embry, as long as we got a way that you can't run, I'm promising you this, I'm going to finish you off once and for all, and I'm going to make all of these people and everybody watching out there real happy, because once and for all, I'm going to get rid of the jerk from Texas, and I'm going to do it this way.
The King, he'll be looking for Eric Embry, and you're right.
There we go. So we watched a lot of Lawler promos in '93, and we hadn't really been watching many, so I thought, all right, we'll check this one out. And this is classic Lawler. You know, he was talking about, Eric Embry running his big fat butt out of there. He finally learned to block the door whenever he wanted to confront certain people, and then they couldn't get out, right, BT?
Yeah. Big Lou Winston and Randy Hales and somebody else I can't remember. Jerry Calhoun, yeah. They was all blocking that door to get out. So
I'm guessing Big Lou was doing more blocking than the other two.
Good God, that's a big man, especially when he's standing there face to face with Jerry. I wasn't stupid, guys. I could have punched Jerry that night, but that would have been some guy just ran in the dressing room and punched Jerry Lawler, and they beat the fuck out of him. So I was just thankful I didn't get an ass whipping. So there you go.
Randy would have whooped that ass if he'd have raised
He
a hand
would.
to the
What was
king.
I thinking? Yeah, he wanted to. He would have whipped my ass that one night, but Brandon Baxter stopped him. So
Yeah, well, you're lucky. There's always been somebody there to keep Randy from beating your ass, and that's a good thing.
I bet he's strong.
I've got a Randy story for the Patreon. So there you go. That'll be fun, man. And it does have to deal with him being strong. So
Tremendous. Well, there's your hook for this week, folks. So next up, I guess we could have put this matchup in its entirety and watched 2 whole matches today, but the King steps in against former Western States Tag Team Champion Judge Dredd, and the King gets the win in 24 seconds. So if there was any question that Judge Dredd is on his way down the card and probably out the door, well, there's your answer right there. Were you shocked to see Judge Dredd go down so quickly?
Not really, because we've seen his deal in the ring. He's not Billy Robinson by any means, and
he's not even Charles Robinson.
No, and even Lawler would have struggled having a good match for TV. So they did it perfectly. I love the King had to get up on the top rope, hit him with one punch like he's Roman Reigns, and then he went, he fell, he sold good. Yep. And then he went up to the other rope, hit him with the drop fist, 1, 2, 3. It flowed perfectly. And for what it's worth, Dredd bumped it perfectly and in the right spot for King. So it went good.
I loved it. I love the gear, Jerry Lawler's gear today. I love the cape and everything. Quick match, exactly what it should have been. I thought I liked it.
Yeah, he had a longer match with Tagar last week, and I guess this week he wanted to get right down to the point. Then we hear the Summer Stampede car for Pipkin Building. We'll check that out a little later in the show. And right now, we get Dr. Tom Pritchard and Miss Texas. And I know we're a little clip heavy this morning, but I'm sorry. If there's a promo where Miss Texas is going to talk, I have to include it. And Pritchard gets in a couple of good lines here, too. So let's check this out. Dr. Tom and Miss Texas.
And Ms. Texas is with him. Maybe we can get some comments about that. First of all, what about this mudhole match coming up here, huh?
Let me just say this. You want to talk about being sick and tired of the things that are going on around here. I've heard Jerry Lawler come out week after week and talk about what he's going to do to Eric Embry and all these jerks and stooges and funkies from Texas. Well, I got news for you, Lawler. I'm nobody's stooge. I'm nobody's funky. And I'm sure not a jerk. Now, one thing I want to say is, where does the dirty white girl get off on even being in professional wrestling? Who has she ever beat, man? Does she wrestle at all? What has she done? What makes her have the right to even come in the same profession as me and Miss Texas? and you got a mud hole in the middle of the ring Monday night? Well, she's not even in your league, man. Why, she's not even any competition. She doesn't match you in sophistication or beauty. And what can you do with a mud hole in Memphis, Tennessee?
Listen here. Monday night, I got a mud match with Miss Goody Two-Shoes, Dirty White Girl. You're no match for me. But come Monday night, I'm going to take that little pig face and stick it in the mud, and I will show everyone why I am the best female wrestler around and why you just a bony freak.
That's right. What makes you, have you ever looked in the mirror, Dirty White Girl? Where did this truck stop tramp get off on feeling like she could be in the same profession as me?
Listen here. Hell, listen here.
So,
Love me some Miss Texas, y'all.
first of all, I like that Dr. Tom went out of his way to point out he is not a jerk.
That's
So,
right.
He was pretty adamant about that. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was fun listening to Miss Texas talk in '93 when she'd been in the business for a couple of years. But here in the beginning, it's even more fun. And on the flip side of that, we usually don't show both promos from a feud or a match, but holy shit, we're gonna have to hear Dirty White Boy and especially Dirty White Girl's response. I almost feel like we should play this on Patreon to some degree, but here's
Hey, I turned away during this interview. Did she show her panties?
Not this time.
Ah, crap.
I watched it twice to make sure, and
All
she
right.
did not. But let's listen to what these two have to say about Dr. Tom and Miss Texas. And I swear to God, I had to rewind it twice. When they first came out a minute ago, it sounded like Dave Brown said butthole match.
Butthole, yep.
So it wasn't just
butthole
me.
Match. It was me. I heard
Okay.
butthole match.
I feel a little better because I was like, what did he say? And I rewound it back. But it is like,
Butthole match brought to you by Spunkloo. There you go, that butthole match.
I want to hear from the Dirty White Girl, Kim, and Tony Anthony, the Dirty White Boy. Tony's carrying a bucket of some kind. That's often not. Boy, Kim is not happy. Hello, Tony. What do you got there? Oh, my goodness.
What does that look like right there?
Looks like mud to me.
First of all, what I want to talk about is one loudmouth, blowhard, nothing happening individual calls himself the Texas champion, Dr. Tom Pritchard. You know, Dave, it seems like every time that I get a title shot, Tom Pritchard is either running or he's got somebody interfering. But let me tell you something there, good doctor. You can run, brother, but you can't hide, because this time, wherever you run, all you got to do is look over your shoulder, and you're going to see the Dirty White Boy right there, right on your tail, baby, because I'm going to give you a whooping of a lifetime, and then after I get that Texas title, I'm not going to put it around my waist. I'm going to go down and I'm going to find me some creek, or I'm going to find me some river, and I'm going to take that nothing happening bogus belt, and I'm going to chunk it right. I'm going to litter, and I'm going to pollute some lake up, because I'm going to throw it away, because a belt like that and people like that don't deserve to be in professional wrestling. And now, something that I'm looking forward to, and I'm sure this little lady right here is looking forward to. Well, you go ahead and say your little piece.
You know, Miss Texas, you pig, that fat rear end of yours, you better get ready, because I owe you one. And when I smear this all over your face and you take a little trip in it, you're going to remember me, babe. This one's on me.
Because you see, Dave, it's going to be a 6-foot pit set in the middle of the ring. And then them two, this pretty little lady right here, like I said before, she's not a professional wrestler. But like I've always said, pound for pound, this is one of the meanest 100 pounds little lady that you've ever laid eyes on. And Miss Texas, I wouldn't want to be in your shoes. Ooh, I'm telling you, because she's going to look like a hog walling out there. Because, you know, I know them Texas people, they used to rounding up, yeehaw! They used to round them little doggies up and going out and slapping the hogs. Well, we want her to feel at home. So we want you to feel at home, Miss Texas. So that's what this is all about, making you feel right at home when the white girl sticks that big, ugly tail of yours and then into that mud, and then she's going to grab that big, wide face that's got that big nose plastered all over it. Buckwheat. That's it, baby. When Buckwheat's head goes in that mud and it starts bubbling on the side, are you going to let her up, or are you just going to keep her under there?
I think I'm going to keep her under there. I think she deserves that.
Woo, guys. Woo. That dirty white girl, she's just the perfect kind of trash, man. Just the perfect. Woo! Oh, Jesus.
Lord have mercy.
Perfect kind of trash.
Boy. Let's go back to the beginning. So Dirty White Boy is going to win the Texas title. He's going to either throw it in a creek or a river because it doesn't serve.
He's going to litter. He's going to litter.
He's going to litter, but he'll pay the fine if he has
Crick.
to.
He should have said crick. That's what we say. Tennessee is crick.
He's a babyface now, so he's trying to enunciate.
Oh, it was
apparently. But Dirty White Girl, I mean, she says what she says, but then the buckwheat line, I was just like, woo! Oh my, what are we what are we doing here? If Lance would have been there, he definitely, oh, come on, Kim. What the fuck? Dave really tried not to sell it, but what'd you guys think of this?
They held it together. Right. I mean, it was great right there till the very end. And just like how most fights start, you know, especially in younger years, she poked in pride and she's the one that started it. She's like, buckwheat. Like, say it, Tony, say it. And he had to lean into it. And it got it, dude. It got cringy there at the end. And I was thinking whenever the promo was done, I was like, surely to God, they're going to walk around the ring and then go in the babyface dressing room on that side. But nope, they still walked around the crowd just like they came. I doubt there was as many hand tags going back as there were coming in.
For some reason, that didn't bother me. I don't get to.
I mean, I'm sure it didn't. Sure it didn't.
I couldn't even say that with a straight face. Oh, I like it. The fun thing was the butthole. I think the butthole match would have been more.
There's your clip of the week right there. The fun thing was the butthole, and it stops. There's a big break in the sentence there where you can just leave it and let that hang.
So I never was a fan of these matches. I thought they were really stupid. I went into the living room after watching this, and I told the wife, they're having a mud hole match. This is so stupid. And she said, well, I bet that was fun. So there we go. A fan right there would have came to the Pipkins building and watched the mud hole match on Monday night because it sounded fun. So there you go. There you go.
Yeah, and I mean they've already been in wrestling matches, so we're having to find new creative ways because, as Tony Anthony said, she's not a wrestler.
That's right.
She can get in there and roll around and throw some punches, but she's not going to go have a match per se. So, well, we have a mud hole match, so we'll see how that plays out. I'm sure we all have an idea, but anyway. Next up, we're going to see highlights of the tag team steel cage losing team must split. Now, I only took a 15-second clip of this match because I think this clip sums up this entire match. So let's take a look at that clip, and then we'll go from there.
A metal chair in his hand. Dread with a metal chair. What's gonna be it?
I didn't notice that when I watched it the first time. Woo!
That may be why Judge Dredd had to have such a short match this morning. He's probably still concussed and doesn't know his name. And I don't know what it was about this match, but like the rest of the highlights was mostly Jeff wailing on those guys with a chair. And every once in a while he'd hand it off to Fuller, and Fuller would take a couple shots. But it's mostly just... I mean, he was like fucking Moondog Jarrett out there just swinging a chair, and then that happened at the end. I was like, was he got a new gimmick now? Like, holy shit, that's crazy.
It's like he was stealing from the fucking ticket box or something, dude. Like, or maybe, they were trying to punish him he told him he was on the way out or something. Who knows? But yeah, like he was swinging for the fences.
Yeah, it felt like somebody's like, hey, Jeff, before y'all go out there, I was thinking you need to know that the other night in Nashville, Judge Dredd called Christine Jarrett a bitch. I don't want to start nothing up. Jarrett's okay.
Slap nuts. There we
Okay.
go.
She's right in the top 5. She's number 6, right behind Robert Fuller and the greatest people from Tennessee. So we're gonna
Well,
sell
where did
that
Jackie
right
go?
about
God.
now.
Thought Jackie
Jarrett
was-
didn't. That's what's funny is Jarrett didn't show Jackie proper respect, and he ends up getting to be the new fabulous one. But then again, he may have took it out on him on that couch before. He may have had to earn it, if you know what I mean. But so then Jeff Jarrett and Robert Fuller are out here. Jeff looks like he went soup shopping with Reggie B. Fine the day before.
Oh, my favorite comment from Fuller was he called him Goldilocks.
I could see him. I could see that. Hey, Rob, you gonna have to wait in the car. I'm going into Greg's to buy my suit.
This guy now.
I ain't going in there, Jill.
I'm going to sit this one out, Jeffrey. But it seems like, this is maybe becoming a rib on Jeff, where each week Robert will say something about how he used to not like him, and then it seems like the burns are getting a little more. Like now he's up to calling him Goldilocks, and I feel like 2 weeks from now, I remember I used to beat his little sissy queer ass all over Tennessee. Like, hey, he's your
He
partner,
was
take it
talking.
easy.
I actually wrote, "What the fuck is Fuller talking about?" On that interview, he was talking shit. Now I called him Goldilocks, and there was something else he was talking about. I was like, "Good God!" These interviews we were all fired up about seeing Jarrett and Fuller together, and man, they have went in a bad direction. And I'm so glad they didn't have to split up. And I don't think the other team split up either. Weren't they still working together, Sabu and?
Well, I mean, Samu wrestled a single match against Rob, and then obviously Judge Dredd wrestled a single against Lawler. So
I guess they did.
So I guess they're not in tag team matches because we're about to see the new challengers in the middle of this promo, and I feel like this was another one of those things that all these years ago I feel like I willed this to happen in my mind because I was just like, God, I want this promo to be over, and this
I'm
gonna guarantee you something. You want to
The Barroom Brawlers out with chairs.
Chairs?
Going after the World Tag Team Champions.
Come on.
They came out of nowhere,
They
Dave.
just out here trying to do an interview, and all of a sudden, here come these guys.
Who are these guys?
I don't know. The Barroom Brawlers is their name, and it looks like instead of wrestling fair and square, that's what they want to start doing, is just coming out here brawling, and they bring folding metal chairs with them. It didn't even come out here just, hand against hand.
What an
Here comes some help. Dundee and Danny Davis, and there's Eddie Marlin.
Eddie Marlin out.
Yeah, maybe that'll get all
Brawlers
the
have the
stops. Boy, they really were working on Robert and Jeff here. One of them's still got the chair. Yeah. His partner's trying to back him.
Eddie Marlin saying they're going to get
All right,
fined.
we're going to take a break. We'll get this settled. Back in a moment.
If USWA had a costume department, I would think that they mixed up Dangerous Danny Davis and Nightmare Danny Davis's outfits this week because he's got the referee stripes on like the old Danny Davis. Yeah, so the Barroom Brawlers have arrived and they attack. I find it funny that chairs were such a focal point in the cage match, and now these guys come out and their whole thing is chairs. Like instead of Barroom Brawlers, they should have named these guys the Chairmen because in this tag team match we got coming up, they're trying to get the chairs involved through the whole damn thing. Before we talk about them, if you thought Rob Van Dam wasn't good at promos, and these guys have been around the business forever, but boy, you talking about a stinker of a promo. I think we could have skipped this and just let the run-in speak for itself. Maybe I'm too harsh. I don't know. Let's watch this, and then I want to hear what you guys think of the Barroom Brawlers all around.
Got them coming up in a match here against superstar Bill Dundee and Danny Davis. All right, watch that chair. Now, I've told you guys could say a word about the matches coming up and about the championship belts if you want to.
Let me tell you something. You don't tell us nothing. Tell them, big man, all about it. Nobody invites us to a fight. We usually start the fight and we end it. Stop! We've been thrown out of every bar, every lounge from Memphis, Tennessee to Louisville, Kentucky.
and we don't get thrown out physically, they tell us to leave. After we beat everybody up, nobody's there to party with. And Fuller and Jarrett's the champions around here. You got two sissies for champions.
Ain't no champions. Let me tell you something, boys. If you want to fight, you come to the right place. You don't invite us because we're already there. We'll take this chair and we'll wrap it upside your head. And when it's all said and done, baby, we're going to walk out of the ring with them belts around our waist, because that's what we're here, baby. We're the Barroom Brawlers, and don't you forget it. And don't you forget it.
Nobody going to tell us what to do. We've been kicked out of every territory in the country, but we're here to stay. We might just take this territory over.
We're going to do, baby. Don't forget it.
The Barroom Brawlers. And boy, every now and then.
This felt like a clip from that Southpaw Regional Wrestling parody show that WWE did. What do you think of these guys?
Man, that was rough. You can tell that they've probably never been. I mean, I know that they've been on TV at this point, but I don't think they were like doing promos very much. And if they were, it was some kind of like crazy super local thing or whatever. In my mind, they, whoever's doing the booking, they're like, these guys are, pretty decent wrestlers. They're big guys. Let's bring them in. We need something like the Moondogs. That's literally what I thought. They want something like that, and they're trying to get this wild and woolly thing going on. But these guys, they're out there, and Jarrett's fucking swinging for the fences. But these guys, like, they could have had ginger snap cookies and not broke them. I'm not saying be careless, but goddamn, there was like not this viciousness, and especially isn't vicious translating through the promos. It was just monotone and
Now I want ginger snap cookies. Jeez, thanks, Josh. I actually thought the opposite. I love these guys. I love their style. I love the whole Barroom Brawler thing. I remember thinking to myself that these guys look like somebody that actually did come from the barroom and could kick Fuller and Jarrett's ass. I like what they did with them, because this is what they should have done with the last two teams that Fuller and Jarrett was feuding with, and they didn't do that. They didn't put them over like this, well, except for the bag over the head thing. But I actually like these two guys. I did a little research, and Gene, you probably know all this, but they looked real familiar. And then I kept looking around, and they were called the Devil's Duo in ICW for Poffo and Savage. And at one point they were working for Blackjack Mulligan's Knoxville area, which I didn't know Blackjack did Knoxville. I always thought that was just the Fullers. But one of the Classics news boards, what was it called? WrestlingClassics.com, which had all kinds of stuff on it. They were managed by a guy named Izzy Slapowitz. And he stated on that board that at one time those two guys, he said, the world of the national tag team titles, but they were sent to Charlotte, and Ole was the booker, and they were in a tournament, and they were supposed to be in a tournament, and they were going to win either the national tag team titles. I'm thinking it was the national tag team titles for Georgia Championship Wrestling. But then they screwed them up, and they went down there, and Blackjack actually had one-on-one with Ole down the line about that. So I don't know. It's crazy how these two guys were almost bigger than they actually was. So when it came to winning titles and being on TV, but I like them. I actually like them, and I like what they did with them.
Blackjack and Flair famously purchased Knoxville at one
I
time.
don't remember none of that. Yeah,
that's a whole big story in and of itself. But these guys, Jeff Sword and Doug Vines, by 91 had been around forever, but like you said, they usually always had a manager, and as by this time, they're not getting promo time anymore because they're just doing jobs. If you go look at 89, 90, 91, like any TV tapings, you'll see their names all over those tapings doing jobs.
Yeah.
So I think that's why we've not put them in tights and called them the Devil's Duo as they'd usually been. I think that's why we're just throwing them out there, calling them Barroom Brawlers, not saying the names that people would recognize from results, because they would know that all the results I've ever seen, these guys always fucking lose.
Mm-hmm.
I was just appalled, even though they've had a manager that somebody's been in the business that long and a promo that fucking awful. Like the guy's like, yeah, we've been throwing out every bar and club there is. I mean, we don't get physically thrown out. They just ask us to leave. The other way, say that the other way around. They ask you to leave and they end up having to throw you out. Now you sound like fucking idiots. It's like, I mean, we don't call us troublers. They ask us to leave, so we leave. I don't know. Nothing they said in that promo made a goddamn bit of sense. I think we'd just, if they'd run in with the chairs and then had the match with Uncle Danny and Bill Dundee, I think it would have served them a lot better than this little interlude of a 60-second promo that sucked a bag of dicks. But that's just me. Like I say, that's what's a great thing about this show, because one of us may love something, two of us may love something. Sometimes we all three do, and there's other times two of us hate something and one of us loves it, and it's not always the same one, which is, I think that's great. It gives us shit to talk about. So they've just debuted, and now they're going right into a match here with Bill Dundee and Danny Davis. And again, they're trying their damnedest to keep these chairs involved as best they can. What do you guys think of this match, outside the promo?
Now, I did like the match. I mean, like like I was saying earlier, like these guys can wrestle, but that's not what they're trying to do at this point. Like I said, I got flashbacks of like the Moondog type thing, and it's only because that's what's coming later. But in my mind, I'm saying the whole time I'm watching this, that's why they brought the Moondogs back, because whoever's booking right now has got this fixation of this wild tag team that's, just out of control. And obviously, I'm not going to spoil anything, but the Barroom Brawlers aren't going to be, here 4 months from now. That's not going to happen. And the Moondogs will be, I'm pretty sure. So, whatever they were trying to focus on, that's what they were trying for. But I don't think the Barroom Brawlers were the guys for it. But that being said, they tried to get the chairs going on. This is the one, because they tried to have a 2-fall match and it got separated by this 10-minute gap. But is this the one where Jarrett and Fuller come in? Are you talking about the match as a whole?
As a whole.
Both falls?
The whole, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Falls.
All right. So Jeff Jarrett comes in, and buddy, this is like Monday night at the Pipkin Building Part 2. He is swinging for the fences, and I forget which one it is, but he knocks the absolute shit out of one of them. And I rewound it, and I watched it again and enjoyed it again. It was great.
Yeah, somebody clearly, probably before the cage match the other night, or maybe in general months before this, but somebody has told Jeff Jarrett, if you're going to pick up a chair, you better freaking hit him with it. Because by God, every time you see Jeff Jarrett swing a chair in that cage match highlights here in the studio, like you said, he is swinging for the fences. He's bringing it. That was the thing I didn't like about the Barroom Brawlers, is they got a couple of decent chair shots in during that run-in on Jarrett and Fuller's promo. Mm-hmm. But then for every decent-looking chair shot, there was a really weak, awkward-looking one that followed it that just took you out of it. And it's like, they either hit them hard every time or don't hit them hard at all, because once you throw a couple of duds in there, it all looks like shit. So
maybe that's why Jarrett came out all furious again. He's watching the back. He's like, God damn it, I'm going to fix this shit.
Let me take my pimp suit off real quick.
Greg's suit.
Shout
Yeah,
out to
Greg. Shout out, Greg. Hey, man, Greg, get a hold of me there.
Greg's guys are doing it.
We'll be doing it. We'll do the promo.
Out, y'all. I know you remember that commercial.
That's our business model, folks. We're trying to hook all the old Memphis sponsors. We're going to get Jolly Roll. We're going to get the Spaghetti Factory. And now we're going for Greg's. And we just need to get Hubcap Annie and that old insurance commercial that used to come on during Power
Dunn's
Pro.
Transmission, too. I've been talking to Dunn's Transmission. So.
Where the guy will say.
But that's one of Randy's friends. And they won't talk to me. So, they said they won't talk to me because of Randy. Adam
Okay.
Dunn.
I don't even remember what I was trying to say there. So we'll just
I'm sorry.
let it go. Anyway.
I like this. I like the way. Are you going to show what happened when Embry came out? Did we get a clip of it? All right, I'm going to shut up about that because they had 2 falls of this match. I think this match would have been better if it would have been a Moondog match in the sense that we would have had a couple of jobbers out there instead of Davis and Dundee, because the Barroom Brawlers could have kept beating them with chairs and ringing the bell, and then we could have had a save from Jarrett and Fuller. I think that might have been better, but Dundee and Davis were probably already dressed out and ready to go, and they said, "Oh, you're gonna fight these 2 guys." So, but yeah, I liked it. I liked all the mayhem that was going on at the end and during all this match and everything. And as y'all said, Jarrett has been told to swing that chair.
So in between the falls and everything, they run down the card again, and then we get Eric Embry out here, and I've kind of clipped this down where it's not as long as it was on TV, and kind of spliced everything together so you see everything that happened in this segment with Eric Embry and eventually Jerry Lawler.
Hey, it's me and you, the lumberjack match. Why, real simple. Jeff Jarrett, Robert Fuller, Superstar Dundee, and Danny Davis. If one of them, and I mean one of them, lay a finger on me, I'll beat your brains out. And if anybody, Crosby, a fool, Dave Brown. In other words, you know what I'm saying? I said I had it up to here with you, Lawler. I hate your guts, man. I hate your...
All right. Boy, if he just how tough you are. Come on, Embry. Hey, with a chair. Jerry, yeah, here he comes back. Come on, Embry. Oh, Jerry's got a chair. Whoa. Here we go. Oh, yeah, he almost got him. Not quite. He came to camp there, waiting for Embry to come back. Oh, here comes Embry with a garbage can and a chair. Oh, my goodness. Lawler throwing the chair at Embry. I'm going to get way back out of the way here. Watch the cameras as all this stuff is flying around here.
Embry grabbing another folding chair, Dave. I'll tell you, these folding chairs have taken a beating.
Boy, they have. And, you know, Lawler with a folding chair and Embry with a folding chair, it still isn't even. Lawler's got the advantage. Look, here goes Embry climbing in there. Yeah, go ahead. That's a mistake. And so Embry throws the chair. Lawler nailed him right in the head with it. He got him right in the head. Embry crawls out of here at top speed. I haven't seen anybody crawl so fast, maybe ever.
Damn. Finger.
So I don't know if you caught this. I rewound it 2 or 3 times and verified it because they said at the end, Lawler threw a chair and hit Embry. But that's not what happened. Embry had thrown that plastic chair, got it hung up in the ropes, and then when he went to bail out, he went through that chair that was in the ropes and it hit him in the head at the same time Lawler tossed the other chair. So that's what hit him, but Dave and them say he threw the chair and hit him.
I didn't notice it either. I went right with what David and them says. So
I started to clip just that moment. I'm like, it ain't that important. But yeah, if you get a chance, go back and watch it. That's what happens, but it's still funny. And that's the last thing we see of those two before the big lumberjack match coming up this week. So let's take our commercial break here, and then when we come back, we'll let them run down the card, and then we'll let BT tell us what happened. And in the midst of that, we'll see what you guys thought about all this right after this.
Hey guys, Ray Russell here. Lots of new stuff happening here at WrestleCopia. If you haven't checked out our website at WrestleCopia.com, it's a great way to keep up with the latest episodes of all of your favorite Copia programming, from the Wrestling Memory Grenade to Regional Wrestling with the Territory Talk, the Wrestling Stoop with the legendary Bob Roop, and of course all of those programs also available at your favorite podcast streaming platforms. And if you want to stay up to date with everything going on in the Copia world, all the latest news, random thoughts, fun videos, pictures, and more, make sure to join the more than 33,000 followers over at Facebook.com/Wrestling Grenade. don't be left out. And last but definitely not least, it's what keeps the entire machine going. I'm talking about patreon.com/WrestleCopia. We appreciate your support in helping us pay the bills to keep the WrestleCopia podcast network running and enabling us to continue to bring you all the quality programming that we offer.
The Retro Wrestling Review. WCW Podcast is a bi-weekly podcast where Gene Jackson and Bob Anderson go back and watch all the WCW pay-per-views and Clash of the Champions events starting in 1989. Listen in on your favorite podcast platform or watch along with the guys over at patreon.com/Retro Wrestling Archive. New episodes drop every 2 weeks, but you can catch them a week early on Patreon.
Tired of the same boring wrestling podcast? Need something with attitude, chaos, and maybe just a little cussing? That's STSpod.club, and we got it all covered. We've got wrestling weirdness with WTF News Desk, 5-minute time limit, and the Southern Fried Brain of me, BT, stirring the whole ship. We also have rolling into Memphis every week about the current Memphis wrestling. Interviews, hot takes, and wrestling outrageousness so wild it might get you banned in 12 states. That's right, it's SDSpod.club, or search all podcast catchers for Shooting the Shiznit, where wrestling podcasts grow chest hair. Not sure what that meant. Love my mama.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling, the podcast that's based on the old school but can still help you find the good stuff from today. Jimmy Street and the Plastic Chic, Jared, are the undisputed tag team champions of the wrestling podcast world. From thought-provoking topics to superstar interviews to action figure expertise. This team does it all, and all they ask is, give me back my pro wrestling! Every other Thursday, wherever you listen to podcasts.
8 o'clock, and there are 8 big matches on the Summer Stampede. Parking is free, of course. Box office will be open Monday at 10 o'clock, so you can pick up your tickets in advance. The opening match of the night, Brian Christopher will be going against Judge Dredd.
And maybe by Monday night, Judge Dredd will have that headache over with if he takes a few aspirin after what happened to him here today.
I think it's going to take that long. Rob Zukowski will be in. Now, this week, Rob has got Chris Candido in a match at the Pipkin Building. The situation that Rob has asked for a rematch, and he will get that later on. But this should be a fine one right here, as Chris Candido, a young wrestler, is very impressed with his own ability, will be going against Rob Zukowski, and we have seen how he can operate in a wrestling ring. World Light Heavyweight title will be on the line then, as Danny Davis will be going against Samu. And then in the next one, the superstar, Bill Dundee. Look out, Bill, that Leatherface, that goofy guy with a chainsaw running around here. The superstar will be in a single match come Monday night. Texas title on the line. Dirty White Boy, Tony Anthony, will be challenging Dr. Tom Pritchard with the Texas title up for grabs. Then, in a mud hole match, the Dirty White Girl will be going against Miss Texas. Now, in this one, they're going to have a mud pit. It's like a 6-foot-long mud pit. And that should tell you pretty much about what's going on there in that particular match.
Somebody is going to end up in the pit for sure, but I tell you, when you say there's no love lost, Dirty White Girl against Miss Texas one-on-one in the ring, it's gonna be a wow.
It should be quite a night for that particular match right there. Then the World Tag Team titles on the line. Jeff Jarrett and Robert Fuller, boy, they got to be feeling good about their situation as they still have those belts, and they will be defending against a team that we will see for the first time here in just a few moments, the Barroom Brawlers. Right now, don't know much about them. We'll find out a little bit more a little bit later on today, though, as they will be in here as they are scheduled in a tag team match. But then come Monday night at the Pipkin Building, they get their shot at the World Tag Team titles, and the fact that they've got the title shot already tells you a little bit about this team of the Barroom Brawlers. The champions, Jeff Jarrett and Robert Fuller, will be trying to keep those belts around their waist. Then, Main event of the night. We've talked about this one already. You've seen the action. The King, Jerry Lawler, will be looking for the flamboyant Eric Embry, and it looks like he won't have to look all over the building or all over that end of town for him this time, because there are going to be 5 lumberjacks at ringside. Dr. Tom Pritchard, Jeff Jarrett, Robert Fuller, Bill Dundee, Danny Davis, and they are really there to make sure that Eric Embry stays in the ring and can't go running out of there like he's already done from the King 2 or 3 times here today.
All right, so there's the card for Monday night. Also important questions that I ask every week. The reason we do this, what was your least favorite part of this week's show?
I love new talent and people coming into the area, but the Barroom Brawlers, it's just, like I said, it felt like, they were instructed to be one way and they just could not be vicious like they needed to be, lay shit in. Like you pointed out, Gene, for every one good chair shot, there's fucking 5 that was, counterproductive to the good one and just kind of took you out of the heat of the moment. I feel like if they would have relaxed more and just went with it. Now, like I said, I'm not like a tater advocate by any means, but at least get a little bit more pit bull in you or some shit. I don't know what to say. But it just really took me out of it.
Yeah, I want taters. God.
What's your least favorite, BT?
That had to be Rob's interview. Was my least favorite. Just so boring, not exciting at all. So that was my least favorite.
And what was your most favorite?
I got to go with the Lawler and Embry. Just every interaction they're having multiple per show for the last several weeks now. And Embry, he's not like a lot of guys let ego, like their personal ego, get in the way of how they are on camera and how they're portrayed. Embry does not give a fuck. You can tell. He doesn't care to go out there and be the most chicken shit, just horrible piece of shit. Like where guys now, I'm not going out there and look like that. That'll kill me. Fuck that. Yeah. Embry was prepared to self-sabotage no matter what to look a certain way. It's perfect. And I love that they're sticking with it and keeping it going. And obviously it's not going to go forever, but this is great stuff for right now.
I agree 100%. I knew what, in my mind, they were leading to a cage match, which they may eventually do, but I love it leading it to the lumberjack because we spent 3 weeks with him running all around the place and looking for Lawler and love this stuff. Love the Embry Lawler interaction. Everything Josh said, that was my favorite part.
All right. And would you guys buy a ticket to July the 8th, 1991, which was my 14th birthday? Let's hear it. Would you guys go and buy a ticket for this show?
I'm going. Like that lumberjack match alone would be worth the price of admission, but then you get Dundee versus Leatherface, and Dundee's only going to take so much shit, and then he'll beat him up for real. So I've got to be there just for that. And my Uncle Danny's versus the mystery man, Samu. That's going to be a good one too. I'm definitely going.
I would have went too. I'm definitely going to. With me, the Barroom Brawlers were over with me, and then we got Dirty White Girl's going to show those panties again. So I think that was well worth my and the lumberjack match, big time with the lumberjack match, because this is what we've been building for. We're going to see them two in the ring. If they get out of the ring, they'll get lumberjacks are there. I would have been totally excited about this match.
Well, there you have it. So I will now pitch to BT, and he can tell us about this card and if there were any close to it that we've got results.
I don't have any attendance figure, and I looked at 2 sources, but they actually made reference to that when they were showing clips that they were having to put extra chairs and the cheers in the building. So I wonder, I didn't get any number whatsoever, but the card saw Brian Christopher beat Judge Dredd. Rob Van Dam and Meltzer put who everyone is raving about, beat Chris Candido. Danny Davis beat Sabu, and he said formerly Samu, so I don't know. Maybe we're going to get Sabu name now. By DQ. Bill Dundee beat Leatherface by DQ. It was Tex. Tom Pritchard beat Tony Anthony. Dirty White Boy beat Miss Texas in a mud hole match when Pritchard tried to interfere, but instead Anthony interfered, and he and Dirty White Girl threw Miss Texas into the mud for the win. The Barroom Brawlers are the new tag team champs, winning the USWA tag team titles for Jeff Jarrett and Robert Fuller. BIDQ. They decided that the belts now can change on DQ after ignoring that stipulation for the last 6 months. And I guess they're not splitting up, but, they didn't even mention that. And Jerry Lawler beat Eric Embry in the lumberjack match when Paul Neighbors stopped the match because Embry was bleeding badly. And then we had 2 nights later in Evansville on Wednesday. I always love seeing these house shows here. But Davis, it looks like Jeff Osborne probably sent the results or stars on here. Davis drew with Rob Van Dam, 3 stars. Doug Gilbert beat Leatherface by DQ when Embry interfered, 1 star. Dundee beat Embry by DQ when Leatherface interfered. Pritchard in Texas, DDQ, double disqualification, Anthony and White Boy. He gave it 4 stars. He said the guys were in the entire match, had a fantastic match. It was just the guys against each other. The girls didn't do anything till right at the end. And in a cage match with the losing team having to split up, Fuller and Jarrett beat Sabu and Dredd, and it was not even 2 stars. Doug Gilbert, Tagar, and Candido all appear to be gone from the area, even though Dredd and Sabu lost matches in every city, which the losing team couldn't team up together anymore. They appear to be on an upcoming television show with them in a match as a tag team. So there you go. And that's it. I already got stuff for next week. But yeah, that's it. Looks like they, Evansville is a week behind, so it was the main event was the same as it was on the Coliseum show or the Pipkinsville show. That finish the main event finish would lead me to think they're going to do another match between Lawler and Embry, but I have no idea. I haven't looked at the results or anything. So I'm excited to see what they end up doing with it.
So in the results that I looked at, apparently, rather than Doug Vines and Jeff Sword, they have given them the names Bone Crusher and Crowbar. I don't know which one's which, but that's the Barroom Brawlers.
I didn't see that. Yeah.
I went and looked everywhere I could find any kind of results to see if we could find some kind of attendance, and it's just not out there anywhere, unfortunately. So that's going to be your Barroom Brawlers, and yeah, apparently I don't know the story other than Eddie left, so I figured Doug wouldn't be around a whole lot longer after that. But
does he end up being Global at this time? Because Global just started up in July this month.
He wasn't there right out of the gate, but he shows up pretty soon thereafter. Okay. I want to say he went to Japan because I know whenever we did the episode where we talked about Global, like when he had flown in from Japan when he went to his first taping to be the Dark Patriot. Or I think it was when they actually pitched him the Dark Patriot, and then he got the outfit and all that. And I think Josh has some insight on the Dark Patriot outfit. We've talked about it in the past on various things, but yeah, I noticed that Tagar was gone from the card. Bill Dundee's wrestling someone else. So then we see, Meltzer says he's gone. So if he's not wrestling Bill Dundee, he's not going to be there apparently. So, good riddance. It was fun for a week or so to talk about Tagar, Lord of the Volcano, but I mean, let's be honest. Nothing.
I think he won one match. Of all the results that I saw, he won that one TV match, and I didn't see him win anything else.
Yeah, that one squash, and that was it. So you kind of know, and then you got Brian, who's new kid's Brian Christopher beating Judge Dredd in the opening match on the Coliseum card there's your answer on him. So that does it for this week's show. Let's get some quick plugs in here before we move on to Patreon. Me tell you what's happening over on stspod.club this week.
Every day we do the Shiznit Minute. We talk about the current wrestling scene. We did episode 1019 on Saturday. That was rolling into Memphis 256. Rumble rebounds. Some really nope, that's wrong. This was 57. Had Tommy Rich on it, and if you're on Patreon, we're going to watch some of the Tommy Rich stuff. Good. I really liked it. I really liked the NWA champion, by the way, the Thrillbilly. He's on that. We did top stories, 10 stories of 2025, me and Mr. Z. Gene and I did a CWA this past Saturday. Rich Lawler idol feud. We're right smack in the middle with the Botwinkle coming in to defend the title against Austin Idol. That was fun. Gene and I also, for Patreon only, did Is It Really That Bad? Fun review of JCW wrestling, and it's being booked now by Vince Russo. This upcoming week we're doing a light week, so no episodes, and coming back the next week with Hit Me With Your First Shot, and Mr. Z's joining us to talk about Michael Jackson's Thriller, so should be fun.
Well, there you go, and you know where we go from here.
That's right. Smokey's gonna put that up here in a minute, but let me. I gave you 4 out of 5 hoots. I enjoyed the show this week. Remember, P3 Radio is the podcast that talks about videos and stories, but never give you links. It was called episode. All right, so I need to get that banner up real quick. So I got don't get in trouble with Smokey. So this is P3 Radio Shiznit Minute, episode 442. Deep Cheeks was the name of it. Josh got chastised for wiping too much. He uses 4 wipes, flushes, and then uses 4 more wipes. It's too much, Josh. It's too much. We learned that Richard probably could not use a bidet because he has deep cheeks. So what we're saying, he has a fat ass and you can't get to the hole. That's actually what he said. Richard is actually a mental health specialist now, just because. And he wanted to talk to Josh about why he would not use a bidet. He was talking about Richard was talking about Josh getting excited for playing with action figures in the tub. Not sure the big deal. Y'all talk about school physicals. I never had a big deal about all that. That was it. By the way, AI song of the week, so he won't get kicked off of YouTube. I actually loved that song, so there you go.
All right, it's up there on the Retro Wrestling Archive. You can check it out there, or you can just go to your favorite podcast platform, search P3 Radio, and listen through their feed as well. So make sure you check that out. And also make sure you check out USWApodcast.com. You can find all the links to the show. You can also get there now that has all the links for this show as well as all the Retro Wrestling Archive, all the different podcasts and things over at RetroWrestlingArchive.club. I figured we would have that matching, and mostly just because .club costs a lot less than .com. So
there you go.
That's where you can find it, and you'll find links to everything like our store, our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Retro Wrestling Archive. There's a link to the Substack. There's a link to all the pertinent things there, including my Patreon at patreon.com/Retro Wrestling Archive, as well as Brian's Patreon at patreon.com/Shooting the Shiznit. And just want to remind everybody, you can still pick up Wolfie D's book, A Tale of Two Wolves, at tinyurl.com/WolfieDbook. And you can get either a paperback version or you can get the Kindle version. And Wolfie's about to be hitting the conventions soon. So order you a book, bring it with you. He'll be happy to sign it for you. And I guess that wraps it up for this week. Any final thoughts?
No.
I love my mom.
I love my mom too.
Look at that. Y'all got everything in common. Tremendous.